You know, the thing about the woke is the arrogance. They're not just more moral than you, but they're also better than anyone who ever lived. Now, for more than 2,000 years, there has been some form of the Hippocratic Oath for doctors. That's all based on what the Greek doctor Hippocrates declared. You know, be professional, keep patient confidentiality, pass on your skills, make sure you're doing healing in the house and nothing else. But now health professionals like doctors, nurses, chemists are being forced to sign up to a new woke set of codes and pledges. But you want to know what they are. Like, how about acknowledging colonisation, systematic racism, the impact of their work on the environment, acknowledging Aboriginal beliefs about the afterlife, which is about as far from medical science as you could get. Now, this is all from a 27-page Good Medical Practice, a code of conduct for doctors in Australia. That's an official rule book of federal health regulators, and it's already been endorsed by the Australian Medical Board, the Australian Health Practitioner Regulation Agency, and the Australian Medical Council. Joining me now is Sky News Investigations producer who uncovered this story, Taylor Halbach. Taylor, whatever happened to the Hippocratic Oath? When did that stop being good enough even for today's doctors?
Yeah, good evening, Andrew. Well, the Hippocratic Oath in its various revisions was good enough for 2,500 years, maybe the only document in Western history that could and possibly should prevail over even the law. It saved millions of lives, it served the noble medical profession well for millennia, founded on the basic value that the patient and only the patient matters. It contained all sorts of sensible edicts like not causing harm in practice, not administering deadly drugs, holding the doctor-patient relationship as sacrosanct, but now there's a new set of standards. A set of rules authored by committee and with the help of the unions, 27 pages of activism, wokeism and bureaucratic mumbo-jumbo. So it's not so much what we've lost from the Hippocratic Oath that has doctors at their wits' end, but what has been added. Listen to this. Since 2020, as you mentioned, it's been official policy of Australian government health regulators to instruct doctors to ensure not patient safety, but, quote, cultural safety by acknowledging colonisation and systemic racism, social, cultural, behavioural and economic factors which impact individual and community health. Now, that goes against just about everything Hippocrates stood for. But wait, there's more. Of course, doctors no longer live by that famous creed, first, do no harm, but have to, quote, acknowledge cultural, historical and behavioural factors and have respect for the diverse cultures, beliefs, gender identities, sexualities and experiences of people. Unsurprisingly, Andrew, the doctors we've spoken to have, well, they've had enough.
I'm concerned about the future of medicine, that it's affecting training, it's affecting whether doctors are even willing to enter hospital-type environments where these bureaucratic practices have reached extreme levels.
Have you timed this?
Now, the federal government's manifesto was developed from the World Medical Association's International Code of Medical Ethics and is meant to be read alongside it. That document consists of 40 principles, including an instruction to, quote, practice medicine in ways that are environmentally sustainable with a view to minimising environmental health risks to current and future generations. Now, if you're wondering if the World Medical Association is in safe hands, here's a look at the newly installed president, Dr. Loujain Al-Qodmani, who took over on October 6 last year. And remember, that's a day before the Hamas terror attacks on innocent Jewish Israelis. And we'll have more on that in a moment.
Climate change isn't an environmental issue. It's a health emergency. Around 2.2 million children face its impact. And by 2030, over 100 million people could plunge to extreme poverty because of climate change.
Dr. Al-Qodmani has busied herself since taking over on October 6, campaigning on all manner of things that have nothing to do with health, increasingly on behalf of Palestine and fiercely in opposition to Israel. Here's a tweet from her timeline where she seems to endorse an article blaming, quote, Israel's war on rising CO2 emissions in the region. She's repeatedly called for a ceasefire, attacked Israel for bombing civilians, and is using her position as boss of the World Medical Association to, quote, call for the immediate end of siege in Gaza. Now, this evening we heard from Dr. Al-Qodmani, who told us that the WMA does strongly condemn Hamas. But Andrew, the World Medical Association's Code of Ethics was developed from the Declaration of Geneva, which was made by doctors around the world in 1948, the same year Israel became a nation. It was drafted in response to the medical crimes inflicted by Nazi doctors on Europe's Jews. The term, look how far we've come, is bandied around a lot these days, but take a look at the state of the World Medical Association, from whom the Australian federal government takes ethical advice, and you have to ask, in what direction? Back to you, Andrew.
Taylor, I'm just staggered. You've robbed me of words. I mean, seriously. So now doctors are into giving lectures on politics and Palestine before they take your temperature? Is that how it's all going to go? Taylor Albach, a terrific report. Thank you so much, mate.